welcome to Ellen Ruth Soap. I'm Ellen, and today I'm going to do a remake of one of my all-time favorite soaps, and I've filmed this several other times, but every time I ask you, I'll say you want to see it each time I make it. Today I'm making my chocolate lavender soap, and this is one of my favorite scents personally. I just love this blend, and I am not a lavender fan most of the time. I just, it's kind of meh for me. This though, this combination from Wholesale Supplies Plus, I don't know why, it just hits it for me. It's so good, and it soaps like a dream. It's got a little vanillin, so it discolors to a tan, but I think that just goes along with the colors we're going to use today in this soap. I've done it before. I have previous videos. Maybe I'll link them down below if you want. If you love this as much as I do, you might want to watch each of them. But I figured I'd bring you along because this soap is so fun. I'll show you the color swirls we're doing today. I'm going to use lilac to represent my lavender color because that's the purple I have, and it's beautiful. This is from Be Scented. And then for the chocolate part, I'm going to use my dark chocolate mica from Be Scented, and I do a hanger swirl in the body, and then on top I do lavender rosettes, piping, and little Hershey type kisses dollops on top. I do it every time. I just love it. It's one of my favorites. So anyway, this is a goat milk soap, so I'm going to get everything pulled together, and I'll talk you along as we get to it, and we're going to make some chocolate lavender soap. Okay, it's soap additives time, and I've got my goat milk. We're going to do milk in oil method, which is a portion of the liquid, and I discounted from my lye solution to add it right into the oils. This is how I do with liquid milk. If I'm doing milk powders, I also add it right into the oils. That's how I approach it. Milk and oil, it's such an easy way to add luxurious milks into your soaps. So I'm loving this method, and I've had zero issues with scorching. I get asked a lot about that. I've never had an issue with milk scorching this way. All right, now it's time for the dry additives. My kaolin clay and my colloidal oats, as per usual. Just because I love them. I get asked, why do you add those things to your soap? I love it. I'm just a little extra. This is a little extra. I love it. Hey, let me tell you about the piping tips real quick before we get into blending. I have a Wilton 1M star tip, which I will make my purple rosettes. And then I have a Wilton 1A open hole here that I'll do my little Hershey Kiss type dollops for the top of this soap. So we're going to do a little soap frosting. And I have the fragrance already in here. I've soaped with it multiple times. It soaps like a dream. It smells even better. So let me get this blended in so we can get moving on. It's time to add our lye solution in here. It has lye lint. I made this lye solution yesterday, and when it sits overnight, it gets like a little crust on top. So I will be running it through my sieve here. My lye solution has cane sugar that helps lather boost. It's a booster for lather. Love it. It has tussa silk fibers. It makes a silky lather, and I love that also. And it has sodium lactate for easier unmolding the next day. So that's why I add all those additives into the lye solution. They are totally optional. You don't need to add any other things in here except a liquid and your lye, and you're good to go. But I like the extras, so there they are. Let me run this through here because you don't want chunkage in your soap. Definitely want to catch all the little lye lints. All right, and we're going to blend this up to an emulsion. You're going to see this start to turn like a creamy caramel beige color, and that is the lye reacting with the goat milk, the sugars in the goat milk, and that's totally normal. This fragrance does have a little bit of vanillin, and it discolors to a light tan. So I will be putting just a tiny touch of TD in the uncolored portion, just so my colors pop. I'm not trying to get it to a bright white, but I just want to make sure that it doesn't discolor too much with the milk and the vanillin and all those things. I really like the color swirl in this to show up. It's so pretty. Every time I make it, I do the same swirl and the same piping, and it comes out different every time, and I love that. right, it's the next day and ta-da, I just love it. I had a little bit of the uncolored mica left over, so the purples flowers have a little bit of that in there too. I think it's pretty. It made a little dimension. So good, and it smells so good. I just love this soap. All right, I know I've said that a million times. Let's get in here and see how the swirls came out on the inside. We are back with the lovely Olga, and it's time to get into our first loaf. That just tickles me, and the little Hershey Kisses. Hello. I love it. All right, let's get in here. And I wanted to talk about milk and oil method versus a full milk soap. If you saw my mother's milk video that I just recently produced, it was made with breast milk, but you could use any milk, goat milk, camel milk, coconut milk, any milk you want. It was a full milk recipe that I shared, and I'll leave a link down below for that. Oh, swirls are pretty. Look at the little twirl on top. Love it. Okay, so that was a full milk soap. This is a milk in oil method soap. And I have to be honest with you, I don't really notice a huge difference in the final lather. This is pretty. I love it. I just love a milk soap lather in general, and the milk and oil method has enough milk in there where I feel like the lather is just as creamy. So I choose to do the milk and oil method the majority of the time because it is so easy, and you don't have to worry about freezing the milk and adding the lye really slow and worry about scorching issues and all that. I feel like the milk and oil method just is simplified for me, but I do love a full milk soap. So what I'm trying to say is do the one that you like best. But I find both methods equally luxurious. So I get asked a lot, why do you do milk and oil and why don't you do full milk? And that is why. Also, when I do the milk and oil, it lets me mix my lye solution, which heats up so I can melt my silk fibers in there. And you know me, I love to add my silk fibers and sugar, which is a lather booster. And you can't do that on a full milk. If you had liquid silk aminos, you could do that. So I will say that. Ooh, pretty. But anyway, that is why I roll the way I do. Look at that little twirl. All right, let's get into the next loaf. All right, here is the center loaf. Golly, it smells good in here. I tell you what. And this is a nice medium trace. It's not too fast. It's not too slow. When I had the piping bags pulled off to the side, I just went and did my dishes, and by the time I came back, the piping was ready to go. Oh my word, check out those swirls. And we're gonna have some fun swirly patterns, I can already tell. Happy camper, I am. That's kind of like Yoda, happy camper I am. Love it. So even though this was a medium tracing, it wasn't too fast, it wasn't too slow, these are a little bit soft today, so I am probably going to wait till tomorrow to come in and do my beveling and stamping. That's always an option. If your soap just feels a little tacky or it's denting when you're getting it out of the mold, just walk away, wait another day and come back to it, and that will usually take care of any issues like that. Just let it harden up. And I did a good steep water discount on this, so oftentimes I believe it's the fragrance that is the culprit when you have a soap that is a little bit soft the next day. And again, that's nothing that a bit of time won't heal. All right, let's get into the last loaf here. And I wanted to mention that I will leave a link for my other chocolate lavender soap down below, or one of them. I've done a couple, and I'll also leave a link for my full milk soap recipe that I did for the mother's milk. And again, you don't have to make a breast milk soap with it. But I also wanted to mention that I do have a playlist on my YouTube channel. If you look at the cross underneath my banner, it has some headers there, and if you look at playlists, I have a playlist that has all of my soap recipes. I'm not sure if I put other recipes in there like bath bombs. I think it's just videos that have soap recipes included. So if you're ever looking or wondering about recipes, go to that playlist and see what's on there. It has, yeah, it'll have the full milk recipe. It has my coconut soap. It's 100% coconut. It has several other recipes. So anyway, there's a lot of info on there to be had. Check it out if you haven't already. And thank you for joining me today. I hope you like this video as much as I like making this soap. Every time I make it, it makes me super happy. And we will have some soapy patterns to be seen at the end. I appreciate you taking the time to be with me today. And I hope that you have a wonderful day.